Hello, welcome to Java Programming Tutorials, Chapter 20, Part 2, Types of Polymorphism in Java, brought to you by Ankpro Technologies. My name is Harish. So in this session, we are going to learn about the types of polymorphism in Java. So in the last session, we learned like what is polymorphism and how can we achieve polymorphism by two ways. One is method overloading and method overriding. So apart from that, in this session we are going to learn like what are the two types of polymorphism. They are runtime polymorphism and compile time polymorphism. So runtime polymorphism, for that we can give an example of method overriding, and for compile time polymorphism we can give an example of method overloading. So dynamic or runtime polymorphism is also called as dynamic binding. Compile time polymorphism, it is also called as static binding. So now we'll understand like what is runtime polymorphism. In this type of polymorphism, the parent class reference can hold the object of parent class or any child class of the parent. So what do you mean by this? To understand that very clearly, what I'll do is I'll jump into Eclipse and I'll show you a demo of it. So now let me jump into Eclipse. So here is my main method. So to the same package, what I'll do is I will add some of the classes, some of the other two classes. They are class demo, or it can be called as class parent. So this is the parent, and I'll click finish. And similarly, what I'll do is I'll add a class called by name child, and I'll click finish. So what I'll do is in the parent class, okay, I wish to add a method like public void print. So this is the method. So and let this method take a parameter. So the string, its name, the parameter name is name. So what I do is I'll just make use of system dot println. So inside this, what I would like to print is the name, or I'll tell like name of parent class so I'd like to call that variable name here. Okay, this is what about the parent class. And apart from that, let me also write a method, okay, or let me keep only that display method. That's enough, I guess. So in the child method, what I'll do is let me also define the method with the same name, that is display, or let me take with the same example. So here I'll come here and I'll just describe the same method here too, and here it is child class, name of child class. Okay, and now what I'll do is I'll come to my main method, and before that what I'll do is to this child class I'll inherit the parent. Okay, now what I'll do is, okay, let me come to main method, and here in the main method what I'll do is I'll just assign a child object to a parent class. So how to do that? Parent p equals new. I'm going to assign a child object to a parent class reference. So that's what I'm trying to do here right now. Then now when I call the display method, or sorry, let me call the print method. So it takes a parameter here. So let me give it as Sam. Okay, now our question is which print method will be called. So now when I run this program, okay, you can observe here we will get the output as name of child class Sam. Okay, and as I said you, the question that comes to our mind is which print method will be called. Here the child object, okay, is resolved in the runtime. The display method of the child class will be called, and hence the output will get as Sam, name of the child class Sam. Okay, this is what we call like a runtime polymorphism, okay, or also called as dynamic binding, because in the runtime polymorphism, the parent class reference can hold the object of a parent class or any subclass of the parent. Okay, this is what we call a dynamic binding or the compiled or runtime polymorphism. Okay, I hope you understood this, what is runtime polymorphism. And now let me show you a demo of like compile time polymorphism. So as I said in the last slide, like compile time polymorphism can also be called a static binding, and the example to that is method overloading. So let me show you an example of compile time polymorphism. Okay, and it's very simple. So now let me jump to Eclipse, and here is my Eclipse. Now let me show you a demo of compile time polymorphism. So when what I'll do is, this is the parent class, okay, and I have a child class here. So let me go back here, and now we are going to learn about compile time polymorphism. Okay, compile time polymorphism, for that example is method overloading. So in this type of polymorphism, the control flow is decided during the compile time itself. So now what we do is, let me go back here to my Eclipse. Okay, now I have a parent. Let me close this and this too, and here itself what I'll do is I'll just remove this method, and now public static, or let me make it as public int add, and it takes two parameters, int a comma int b. So now let me end up here. So what it's going to do is, it's going to return a plus b. Okay, and again return, so this is going to return a plus b. Let me copy this, and now again, so method overloading is the same name with a different number of parameters, and this is like it takes 4 parameters, c comma int d, a plus b plus c, and this is a plus c d. Okay, and now let us understand this very clearly. Okay, so now what I'll do is, since these are instance method, how can I call them? I can call them with the parent object. So now when I press d dot, I have this int which takes two parameters, 10 comma 10. Okay, and I'll end up with semicolon. So apart from that, what I can do is let me store it in some variable res, and let me make use of the system dot out dot println, it's res. So now when I run this program, I'll get the output as 20. Okay, now you can observe here, this is called method overloading. So I have three methods with the same name, but they vary in the number of parameters. So similarly, what I'll do is, I'll just copy this, and it is res1, and here too it's res1, but here it takes 3 parameters, and again I can copy the same thing, it is res2 s2. So now when I run this program, you can observe here it's going to print 20, 30 and 40. So this is what I call the compile time polymorphism. So compile time polymorphism, the program control flow is decided during the compile time itself, or else simply we can say like that a class can have more than one method with the same name, but they differ in number of parameters. So this is what we can give an example for compile time polymorphism, or else we can call it as static binding. Okay, I hope you understood like the types of polymorphism, their runtime and compile time. So finally, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel Ankpro Training. You can also like our Facebook page visiting this URL. You can also follow us on Twitter. Further reference, ref our website. We're on LinkedIn too. Last but not the least, please don't forget to give the feedback. Thank you. Have a great day.